Next morning, the mayor spoke to the press. Where Harry is now is anyone's guess. Last night, he burned down a whole hotel. The man's not well. I love him, the girl said that Harry had saved. He may be dead, but he's awfully brave. And I'm willing to give him my maidenhood, if it'll do any good. That creep, said Spider, got nothing on me. I got me a contracting company and legitimate deals with City Hall, is all. At the bus station in a TV chair, Harry sat listening to the mayor, wrapped in a raincoat and turned up collar, till he used up his dollar. Spider chopped powder with a razor blade, rolled a new 20 when the lines were made, held a nostril closed, snorted up his share, and passed the other half to the mayor. He said, I'd be the one that takes the heat. I want that motherfucker off the street. The mayor said, yeah, I'm doing my best. Don't get that shit all over my desk. He vacuumed the dust as if with a hose and sat back holding the bridge of his nose, feeling the present tense fill out his clothes and hearing his office door open and close. He tilted back further, peered under his hand. Unhurried, but starting to understand, a man in a raincoat turned and faced him. It was a moment before he placed him. The face was bad meat. The skin had melted. The mayor saw it after he smelt it. The eyes had gone livid and seemed to stare at the mayor. Spider sat wondering what he'd been hit with and what they could have been cutting this shit with. The mayor pressed a buzzer and grabbed a phone, and Spider felt profoundly alone as Harry advanced on him. He couldn't scream. He was paralyzed, as if in a dream, until Harry grabbed him around the throat. He shrieked, jumped up, and brushed at his coat. Don't touch me, you asshole, you fucking dead. He backed to the boardroom, holding his head and slamming a 14-foot oaken door, locked it and made for the next one before Harry kicked through it as smoothly as fate. Spider locked another and didn't wait. He ran screaming as Harry burst through again and again, up to 10, until Spider was racing across the lobby. Hopelessly stoned and panicked and sobbing, he rushed through the door to the open air and found cops all over City Hall Square, holding the crowd that was straining to see just how dirty Harry could be. Then a gasp went up from everyone as Harry staggered out into the sun, a botched and putrefied resurrection looming in Spider Mayo's direction. Though the cops were there because of the mayor, they wouldn't let Spider run anywhere. He cried, Harry, I didn't mean what I done. I was just having a little fun. You ain't gonna hold that against someone. But Harry kept coming. His ex ducked the cordon and broke away. She said, Hun, you left before I could say. I don't know, Harry. I guess I'm a jerk, but I think it could work. He didn't slow down. At his other side was the girl for whom he'd got himself fried. She said, when you carried me out of that fire, you touched my desire. The drag queen grabbed his hand to implore him, while the newswoman backed along before him. She said, Harry, can you give me a moment? Don't you have any comment? He stopped and looked at her. His skin was cracked. Their whole affair had been eye contact. But he lurched ahead, having no time to linger, and left the queen with a handful of fingers. Spider was now in the psychotic stages of the worst drug vision he'd had for ages. Harry's shadow fell over him like a tree's. He dropped to his knees and said, "I've sinned. The mayor made me do it. You wouldn't know without you'd been through it. Dealing drugs was my way out of the gutter." He gave a shudder as Harry reached for him with his good hand. He said, "Harry, you gots to understand a more ruthless sense of reality. You just like me. You try living there. You don't want to hear it, but my childhood twisted my little spirit." He pleaded with all the tears he could summon, but the hand kept coming and grabbed him. He clawed at Harry's face, and the flesh came away without leaving a trace. He gaped up at a skull with blow-dried hair and yellow eyes that continued to stare into Spider's soul. But the soul was gone. Whether the revelation had been too strong or whether he'd snorted too much meth, he was scared to death. Harry put him down with the gentleness bred of the strange brotherhood of the dead, and lingered a moment over Spider with the tact of an insider. To the women, he turned his face of bone. At least it was clear his teeth were his own. But they weren't all that sure now they wanted to marry Harry. Nevertheless, they stood there undaunted, waiting to see which one he wanted. But he reeled and stumbled toward the crowd. It screamed so loud that he faltered back and groped in the dark, a wino about to pass out in the park. An arm slipped out of his sleeve to the ground, and he tripped and fell into the fountain, where he lay face down, savoring release as he drifted slowly apart into pieces. An eye let go, dropped away from the skull with a thud that was underwater dull, slid over the bottom toward the hole, paused at the rim, a reluctant soul, took a last look around at what it had been, and slipped in.